Right, I want to give you my impressions of what I think of the Renault Zoe. First, it's an electric car. That means it uses, well, electricity instead of fuel. Another thing is that it has a complicated battery hire system. I'll explain that later on. But what I want to do is just give you my impressions for 3 years of ownership. I've owned it for 3 years, since 2014, and now I'm just going to go and swap it for a new one. New one doesn't have the 40 or 50 kilowatt charger, so it's a lot slower. The new one's supposed to have a bigger battery. I don't know the specifics at the moment. Also, the new one seems to be a difference in the drivetrain, which means the motor might run faster or slower. I get the top speed of 86 miles an hour on my current old Renault Zoe. Other than that, I mean, there's not a lot of difference. But I'll give you the general background, because at the moment there is a complication with the battery hire. When you hire the battery, you're going to have to hire it for, I don't know, a year at £90, or for 3 years at £70. There's a whole list of other options as well, but those are the main things I can remember at this time. So what is it like to hire for 3 years? Well, they put it into an ongoing bank direct debit system, where you pay for it for 3 years unless you're swapping for the car. Now, I'm just about swapping the car 4 months early, and there's an issue where I have to sell it to the Renault dealer, and then they would exchange it for a new one. While the battery hire, I have to get them to sign an agreement where they'll take over the battery hire, leaving me with a new battery to go with. In the meantime, I'm continuing on with this old car, and I'm wishing that the new car will be less complicated to get than this one initially did, because well, basically I was the first customer, one of the early customers for this car, and because of that, the dealership didn't know much about swapping over or any concepts in the government grant, and for that they took their time, and I had to phone head office about getting them to agree to the reduced in price and give him a £5,000 reduction on this car. There still is a government grant. It's slightly reduced on the offering for this car, but it's good enough. Anyway, this car is depreciated quite a lot. I think I bought it around about £9,000 or something. Now, because of the part exchange and everything, I'm buying this for about 5,000-ish, and the actual resale part exchange sale, I'm basically offered 3,000 for this, which isn't a lot. I actually thought I'll get more, being it's technology, but the sales guy said it's a niche market, and because of that they're taking a risk on it, and they're just offering me 3,000, which isn't really good, but considering that I'm saved quite a lot on fuel bills, and even more so because I'm using solar panels on my roof. I'm hoping I've saved more than I'm losing on the resale value of the car. That aside, I'm pretty happy with the performance, because generally the performance itself is a lot quicker from the get-go at traffic lights than normal cars. I don't like the noise of the petrol car, and so I can enjoy the music more on my stereo. There's other things that I should say that I enjoy with this car, but generally speaking, the car performs very well. Battery itself degrades over time. I had 82 miles originally from this car. I went through a fast charge through Leeds a couple of times, and because of that, battery range has gone down about 10 miles or so. So I've only got about 72-ish miles range on this car, 3 years on. Besides that, it's okay. I mean, I know that there's battery degradation on this, and I'm thinking, like Nissan batteries, these don't like the heat too well, so if I'm charging at a high temperature or even fast temperature, the degradation or parasitic reactions to lithium batteries in general has caused it to reduce in capacity. Not much, but enough to make me concerned that I should sell the car as soon as. And it has a 4-year warranty, so because of that I am basically changing it 1 year before the warranty runs out. And because the resale value from 2 years and 6 months, I'm getting around about 3,000 for the part exchange value. If I do it a couple of months earlier, I probably got 4,000, but I was unsure about this battery swap agreement, so I've left it late before I go away, so that I can reach to the end of the battery agreement as late as I can. Beyond that, there's other things that you should be aware of. There is a charging cable which is in the boot. You get that free. It's quite expensive to replace, so don't lose it. The tyres, they don't wear down as much if you go easy on the corner, especially those tight ones. Just drop down to 30 and you'll speed up pretty quickly. The sides of the tyres, especially at the front, they get worn slightly, if you can see that. And because of that, you have to be careful when you're cornering, but I normally am anyway. The treads in the middle is quite deep. That is almost like the original tread deepness. So in the end, it doesn't get worn down as much. You don't have to pay for oil or any lubricants or filters or whatever, so that's an added bonus. So I'm saving money on that. I've noticed also, don't know if you can see that, you can see the tracks bugs very well, and because of that I have to clean, but that's not so bad. The glove compartment is well, really small. You can't hardly put anything else in there besides, well, I'll let you see. Let's see that. There's not much you can put in there. Just whatever. There's no cup holders except for the ones behind the brake, handbrake, and I installed this myself, which is a godsend sometimes. When I installed that, I can put in soft drinks or a bottle of water, which helps. It plays MP4 files sometimes. You have to stick it onto a USB stick. You put MP4 files or MP3 files, music or video, onto a USB stick, and it'll play on here, as long as you've got the filing systems right. Playing MP4s or MP3s is quite a godsend, because now I can watch a movie or something when I'm charging at public chargers. There is a timer on this if you're planning to charge at night, and I do most of the time, and it's a bit fiddly, so you have to basically keep an eye on it if you're charging at midnight. And I normally have an energy meter, which I know for a fact that once this is charging, you're going to get 5 kilowatts draining from your energy meter, and that is the reason why I got the energy meter, because I can monitor from inside that it's charging, and I know that the timer is working. The timer sometimes works, but what I normally do is plug it in, wait for the initialization. It's supposed to initialize back home or to Renault, and from there on it would connect the charger, and you can hear this great big relay click from the charger itself. So once that relay click is initialized, you can then basically know that it's working, and you can click onto the locking mechanism and lock it. I wouldn't recommend locking it before that relay click is on, because somehow I've had many times when it won't charge on the timer due to it not due to you not waiting for the relay click and then locking it after you hear that sound. But all in all, it's been a great ride, this car. I'm hoping that the new one would be less complicated. All in all, I don't think the Renault Zoe is a bad car, or the systems in place for it. Initially, I'm saving a lot of fuel prices. I'm supposed to be, was it 2 pence per mile, and opposed to something like 20 pence for petrol or diesel cars per mile. So all in all, I hope that my experience and my information I've just given you will help you to choose your own car. Anyway, I'll see you next time.